Starfield. In 2023, Bethesda released their galactically hyped open-world sandbox, the challenge to go where no Skyfall, Rim-out-like game had gone before, outer space. Ahead of release, they had eager gaming explorers frothing at the mouth with the promise of shipbuilding, outpost building, space combat, zero-G combat, everyday G combat, main questing, side questing, and fetch questing, direct-to-camera storytelling, environmental storytelling, and putting buckets on NPC head storytelling. They weren't just promising the world, they were promising 1,000 of them, and then it released.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
And it suffice to say, its release narrative is a complicated one. Initially met with universal praise, apart from a rogue 7 from our friends at IGN, this infamous 7 foreshadowed an intense fall from grace over the following months. The initial wave of praise and excitement for its expansive galaxy were gradually pulled into a dark black hole of criticism and hate. Accused of being boring, slow, empty, and many comparisons to No Man's Sky and its seamless space to planet traversal.
Yeah, we don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
This black hole of disappointment exposed a rift between the game that many were expecting and the game that they got. Now yes, some of this criticism is fair, but for this video I want to propose a theory that we have all been judging Starfield wrong. We were judging Starfield as a role-playing game. But what if what we got wasn't a role-playing game? What if Starfield is actually a cozy game? What if by celestial intervention Bethesda's development decisions actually released a cozy game in disguise? And with that, I'd like to welcome you to Starfield Valley. So what defines a cozy game? The cozy game revolution began with a humble little farming sim, followed by an even humbler animal village sim. Cut to 20 years later, and hungry cozy gamers hunt eShops every day for the next indie hit, salivating for the calming, relaxing music, mundane daily chores, longing for the sweet release of decorating, the sweet, slow build of a friendship.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
And why does this matter? Because when you view Starfield by these metrics, suddenly a lot of its perceived weaknesses actually become its strengths. Compare this graph of a cozy game, the infamous game loop that makes a game a game. It's completely absent in Animal Crossing. All these separate systems reach out in different directions, and the options are yours. Pour yourself into farming, or collecting, or decorating your house, or just daily chores, or build relationships, or of course, fishing. Now overlay the game loop of Starfield. I'm using inverted commas here, but you can't really see my hands, and you'll notice a similar structure. Each system jaunts off in its own direction, hardly ever looping back into each other. Players can go neck deep into outpost building, or ignore it completely, or chase the research tree to their heart's content. Suddenly Starfield as a cozy game makes a bit more sense.
Are you out of your mind?
Deep in the far-off reaches of Reddit, many complain that Starfield's storytelling is too PG and not enough R, too much NASA and not enough punk. But, as a little cute cozy game, Starfield's safe family sitcom-style storytelling suddenly makes a bit more sense. Quests are delivered in a lighter way than its darker RPG counterparts. The settled systems are seemingly bright and optimistic, even when they're hiding the traumas of a history riddled with war, conflict, and a lost homeworld. The world is full of nice, friendly characters. Even the pirates are lovely. Sure, they're a little quirky, but they embody a safe warmth, rather than the dark, gritty characters that make you feel uncomfortable like those in Cyberpunk. I mean, a quest gets you to investigate a tree, for God's sakes. Even Blathers would approve of this one. A visit to Aquila means playing with cowboys, or sharing a glowing soft drink with a Disney level of scum and villainy present on Neon. A trip to Starfield never leaves you heavy or drained. It's light, it's drama without any of the drama. Because sometimes you don't want a dystopian future, or a dark gritty fantasy, or even a Wild West bad guy simulator. Sometimes you just want a cozy world to exist in. One of the shortcomings of many of the best games that have ever been made is the main storyline calls for the player to rush and save the day immediately. Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, each of these games feature a storyline where time is of the essence. Yet the gameplay and hidden discoveries reward you for taking your time and avoiding the time-sensitive main quest. Because Ciri is just meant to wait while Geralt completes another side quest recovering a pan for an old lady. Zelda can wait while Link has to find all 900 Korok seeds. And V's life-ending infected chip apparently doesn't matter because Skippy needs to find his owner. Starfield doesn't give its player anxiety or guilt for exploring, or taking their time. In fact, it encourages you to.
Hey, just so you know, this is my ship still. I'm in charge.
I know, of course you are. Of course.
Likewise, many complain that Starfield's outposts, which are the manly, masculine way of saying snug little space home, have no impact on the game. But when you view each outpost as a humble little farming getaway, they make a bit more Star-Sense stuff. Starfield outposts really only offer two things: farming resources and a quaint little spot to hang your space hat. And in this regard, they do it well, allowing you to answer resource delivery quests via your ship or overly complicated cargo links. You can even get a bunch of Wall-E-type robots to run it for you. While it wasn't a big focus in Starfield's marketing as, say, The Sims or Animal Crossing, decorating your outpost with an assortment of furniture and decor is just as heartwarming as putting your Sims in a room and removing the doors. Sure, you're swapping the cute little records from KK Slider for gun racks and spacesuits, but it is heartwarming all the same. Filling a Starfield hub feels just as fun, browsing and placing your furniture from your 23330 IKEA space catalogue. And just like any village hoarder or recently inherited farm owner, Starfield is made for collecting. Snow globes from your adventures back to desolate Earth, finding cute little plush space animals while you board enemy spacecrafts, and even building your own assortment of space mugs found at not so abandoned settlements.
You'll kill us with a soup cup? Tea, actually.
Confucius say, if a cozy game doesn't have a fishing mechanic, is it really a cozy game? And the same goes for Starfield. It would be pretty easy to say Starfield doesn't do fishing, but it kind of does. To its detriment, lockpicking is not fast, it's slow, and begs the player to be methodical in their decisions. But, like any good fishing mechanic, when you do get it right, you know there'll be a sweet reward at the end. Or, in most cases, a disappointing one.
You made a fair move. Screaming about it can't help you.
And then there's the loading screens. Oh yes, the loading screens. Games don't have manuals anymore, but if they did, there would be a page on the loading screens. That's how much a part of this game they are. Now hear me out. You play a cozy game to slow down, to escape, to simply step back. And I know nothing makes me slow down than a 3 to 5 second loading screen. It's the perfect break you never... Yeah, sorry, even I didn't believe that one.
Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Just like the juggernauts of cozy, the Stardews, the ACs, relationships are everything. Starfield lets you build up your relationships with your companions, slowly winning them over by choosing dialogue choices that align with theirs. And in return, they give you gifts. You can even give them gifts, but only in the form of mined resources and guns for their inventory, of course. I'm surprised there isn't a quest where you find Barrett's lost diary on a planet and return it to him. You can go as far as falling in love, getting married, even simulating arguments with your spouse, plus apparently share intimate moments of love when your ship is full of 6 people gawking over you.
Last night, well, all that physical training seems to have paid off.
But it goes even deeper in more profound ways. In Starfield's character creator, it gives you the choice of choosing a trait called Kid Stuff, which gives your character in-game parents. You visit them, they support you, give you gifts, and in return you make monthly payments to support them. Simple fun. At first glance this appears like a simple, innocent mechanic. But for many players, upon release they began sharing their experience of finding not just comfort in this mechanic, but healing. For those from less than perfect families or have experienced loss, it meant role-playing, if only for a moment, and filling that empty void with a supportive parent figure cheering you on. For a brief moment, players could forget and fill that hole left by the loss of a parent. And it's easy to forget just how powerful this is, to experience a parental figure being proud of you and your achievement, and actually hearing those words you haven't heard for a long time. Which brings me to an often criticised part of the game, and guilty, it's one that's actually my favourite, cue the pitchforks. Often at the end of many a joke and jab is Starfield's empty planets. It's the galaxy's centre of so much complaint. There's nothing to do, there's too much space between point of interests, they're empty, my butt hurts. Emptiness has never been something the cozy game genre has ever been afraid to include. The sound of the wind through the trees when you first arrive on your New Horizons island, to this day still sends a wave of chill over my body as if transported back to a small apartment in a pandemic lockdown. In a cozy game, emptiness is your invitation to fill it, to add your own meaning. These empty fields, rocky moons, open plains, all evoking calmness and invite a slower pace, a quiet power in stillness. In a similar viewpoint, standing on a wide open plateau on Schrödinger 3, watching the sun fall behind the far-off vista, evoke these feelings. And Starfield has some of the most beautiful sunsets you'll ever see, and I will die on this hill metaphorically and literally. Bethesda said they wanted the player to feel small, like a tiny role-playing speck in the vastness of the universe, and I'm pretty glad they did. For me, I look forward to this emptiness, because for a brief moment, before the game crashes of course, I get to breathe in this calming space and be alone. Like how often in this notification-infested existence we actually just get to be alone. Now let's revisit that gameplay loop. The disconnected systems that extend in separate directions. Looking at the variety on offer across calm exploring, gunplay, space battles, outpost building, and now buggy bouncing across landscapes, it's hard to imagine why anyone would say this game is boring, but the fun is there in Starfield, but it's just up to the player to choose it. And this is what's called freedom. Bethesda prioritised freedom, and here's the thing, having choice means the player has to choose their own path. If you're looking for a game that directs you to creating a rich garden, funnels you to collecting dinosaur bones, or offers a quest marker for Brewster's Cafe, you won't find it here. Visiting Brewster's Cafe or Terrabrew is something you have to choose, and when you do, you'll discover your own intrinsic reward, because it was your story. It's a role-playing game after all. So yes, Starfield has proven to be one of the most divisive games released in recent memory. There really isn't anything left to say in regards to its critiques and slander. But visit the Starfield Reddit channel or the No Sodium Starfield Reddit channel and you will experience two polar opposite communities with completely different viewpoints. Some unable to get past 12 hours of game time, others unable to stop past 1,000 hours. And some see it as unsavable, others are already predicting its Cyberpunk redemption arc, if that ever comes. If anything, it remains an example of the ability to experience something different in a myriad of ways. And if you want to continue booking your seat aboard the Hate Shuttle, please do. Or if you've already made yourself at home on the planet of Starfield support, then you do you as well. Because cozy or not, Starfield is an important reminder that we really should just judge something for what it is and rather than what you or the media want it to be. Because call me crazy, but I actually kind of liked it. So with that, I will see you out there in the cozy Starfield Valley.